happened to Trump in February. Here's who's behind it. We know that Democrats have a problem with President Trump. That was kind of expected. It's apparent that what he stands for is in opposition to what they stand for. Republicans and Democrats opposing one another isn't news, it's just what they do. But what would be news is a group of Republicans trying to circumvent the will of the people and oust the sitting president. Obviously, President Trump has a tendency to rub politicians the wrong way, and they find him difficult to work with, but they have a responsibility to play nice with whoever we send to Washington. It's unfortunate for them that if they don't particularly like one of their co-workers, but when the boss says you work with someone, you've gotta suck it up and do it. That doesn't seem to be the plan of many Republicans who want to work with someone they like a little better apparently. There had already been rumors that a coup was in the making, thanks to the hardcore Republicans who thought the president was acting out of turn, and now former White House officials say that they believe the plan is already in the works. Via InfoWars. Former Reagan administration official David Stockman predicts that President Donald Trump could be kicked out of the Oval Office by February next year. Stockman, who served as director of the Office of Management and Budget from 1981-85, writes, "Ultimately, the hammer of fiscal crisis and a crashing stock market will break any remaining loyalty of the GOP elders as they smell the 2018 elections turning into a replay of the rout, sick, of 1974. And then the Donald will be gone, and well before August 2018, too. I told an audience in Vancouver last Friday that it could happen by February." Stockman thinks that Trump's ousting will be achieved, probably by a threatened invocation of the 25th Amendment by the GOP elders on Capitol Hill. The 25th Amendment allows the removal of a president if he is declared to be mentally unfit, although it requires the support of 2/3 of both Congress and the Senate, as well as the vice president, making it an incredibly unlikely scenario. Stockman is by no means an ever-Trumper or a neocon. He acknowledges that the mainstream media is conducting a grand witch hunt and venomous prosecution that will not be sated until the Donald vacates the Oval Office. The bottom line is that the swamp is so undrainable that it will end up making mincemeat of Donald Trump, concludes Stockman. As we have documented, rumors of a de facto coup in the United States have been swirling for months. On his Friday show, radio host Michael Savage warned that Americans could even resort to mob violence if Trump is removed from office by the globalists and the deep state. Pastor Rodney Howard-Browne also recently claimed that he was told by a senior Republican congressman that there was a plot to remove Trump suddenly from office. Brown said the plan was to take the president out, by a method other than impeachment or indictment. In comments made during the Aspen Security Forum, former CIA Director John Brennan said that if the White House tries to fire Special Counsel Robert Mueller, executive branch officials should refuse to carry out that order, which is effectively a call for a coup. Last month, Rush Limbaugh also told his audience, "There is a coup underway, being led by the media with accomplices in the Democrat Party and a number of international players, to reject the outcome of the election, to undermine the presidency of Donald Trump, and, if the wish list were realized, to get rid of him." We should be absolutely irate that there's no longer even a pretext of trying to honor the wishes of the voters anymore. They don't like who we picked, so they're rallying support to oust him. This is an egregious offense to the plan put in place by the Founding Fathers, who set up a system that would ensure voters got to choose the president. It would be one thing if the other side thought that he had lied, which they have tried time and time again to prove, with no success, but they aren't giving any good reason for his being unfit for office. They just want their way. It's no longer an issue of what's best for the nation, it's what's best for the lawmakers who are annoyed with President Trump, regardless of what we want. This should be a traumatizing event. We would be so shocked with their conduct that we are willing to kick them all out of office. If ever you needed proof that many of the politicians on both sides were corrupt, this would be it. And if ever you needed to know when you should take a stand, this would be it. If they're successful in impeaching the president just because they don't like them, democracy truly will be dead.